I should probably address the elephant in the room. Right, I was actually referring to a metaphorical one. There's a very specific type of story that works for this channel. They're more than narratives that convey facts. They convey facts that reveal deeper human truths, and not just messages, but critical lenses that we can use to understand and interact with the world and each other a bit more. Well, it depends on the story. Those are rare, so I tend to worry a lot, but every so often, you find that story. This is Lucy the elephant, and she is that story. She's been here in Margate City, New Jersey since 1881. That's when inventor James Lafferty acquired some land along the shore just south of Atlantic City and decided to, well, design, patent, and build a giant wooden elephant.
This elephant was like, it was just kind of like his dream. I mean, they had just the year before like learned how to mass produce nails. So like before, structures were like limited by the amount you could cast. He got a bunch of beachfront property and he's like, Atlantic City's booming. There's gonna be tons of people coming down here. And I'm gonna just build something to make them come faster. And he went bankrupt because people didn't want to walk the 5 miles. There were celebrities that came, presidents. Our log books from the early 1900s and 1800s are fascinating. I mean, the people that came here. And people would make a day of it.
The thing is, the fact that Lucy still exists is a contradiction. Over the past 140 years, Lucy has come very close to destruction several times. And I'm not being cynical, but why? Why do people care so much about a wooden elephant that they choose to devote themselves to preserving her for well over a century?
There have been so many storms that have been documented that probably ripped through her that we don't know about now. But certainly there were major ones. You've got a metal elephant like in front of a blowing wind that doesn't stop often, with salt air and sand hitting it like from all directions. You've got like sun pounding down on the paint. I mean, the ground underneath your feet. I mean, heck, sea level rise.
I thought this was a story about why people care, and that proving causation would reveal this universal human truth that I'm always reaching for. But the more I talked to the people who've devoted themselves to preserving Lucy, the more I realized that's not the point.
It's magic. I mean, in this world, Lucy is an anomaly. I mean, even an adult who's like, I don't know, not really imaginative anymore, is gonna like see Lucy and be like, whoa, okay, and catch himself before he stops smiling.
Lucy is officially a National Historic Landmark recognized by the U.S. Department of the Interior. That's not a title stamped onto any place that might be interesting. Landmarks have to justify on paper that they're of exceptional value in interpreting the heritage of the United States. I read that justification. It's there. Lucy is historically significant, but significance in a registrar doesn't mean something has personal meaning.
It doesn't. I mean, and it also, actually, what it does mean is it's harder to give that sometimes. Because I mean, when you first came here in the 1970s, you'd come in here and there were these books and shelves and cases and all these curiosities, and they were from around the area. I mean, they didn't all pertain to Lucy. Some did, but if you normally come in Lucy, the windows are actually mostly are displays in terms of like the artifacts, because the majority of the artifacts are people's memories. When we went for status for the becoming a National Historic Landmark, said anything that's not like directly related to Lucy has to come out.
Lucy faced perhaps her greatest challenge in 1969 when she was in such a state of decay. Residents wanted to restore her, but a developer wanted her land, so she had to be moved first. The task was so difficult, it led to the Save Lucy Committee, the same people devoted to caring for her today.
Lucy was ready to fall down. I mean, these people on the 11th hour came in and somehow got her here. Pulled the heartstrings of a lot of people. I mean, they came together from all walks of life. I mean, and coordinated this essentially in 30 days to come up with a way to move a 90-ton elephant down a street that has been condemned for 6 years to this place 2 blocks away, which seems like such a small amount of distance until you're really old or you're a 90-ton elephant, So it was just, it was inspiring. I mean, I think people did, they had a triumph. It's your way to feel like a superhero for a while. I mean, we did this. I mean, in whatever part it was. I mean, so it grows on you. I mean, I don't know. I get emotional about it.
And those efforts are still ongoing.
We're building a new visitor center next to Lucy in the next 2 years. And it's going to be bigger, you know? And I think that that's important because we should have more of a community for Lucy because so many people do love her.
But the question remains, why?
Collectively, it's about people just like remembering to like break through and talk to somebody else. I mean, 9/11 is a sad example of why people can recount a common memory. I mean, and that's a powerful thing still to this day. And because at least people are able to open up more as a result of talking about something as intimate. But that's heavy. Lucy is literally heavy, but she is not heavy. She is not a story about like, you know, tragedy and always having to push ahead or there always being like another hurdle. It's about like, oh my God, here's another like, you know, chapter in something that's been here for 140 years and we're all responsible for like, you know, sustaining. I mean, it's a positive and it's a good place. And I think people pick up on that. I mean, Lucy has lots of facts and things that are really awesome about her. I mean, sure, I could talk to you a lot longer about those even, but the thing is, it's really the emotional ties that she holds to the community, and maybe it should be put the opposite way, the way she ties the community together. Sorry, I love Lucy.
What sustained Lucy for this long is love, connection, community. That's so unsatisfying. It's so simple. There's no causal link. A simple conclusion without causation is hard to relate to, and it's my job to connect those dots, to make this, if not universal, at least relatable. But I can't do that, not here, because everyone has a labor of love, something worth the extra effort and sacrifice to preserve and protect. Not everyone has a giant building shaped like an elephant, but well, yeah, everyone has their own Lucy, and that's different for everyone. Maybe it is a place like this. Maybe it's something you devote time to every day because it makes you happy. Whatever you might gain from that might not be worth anything in a traditional sense. You can't drive down to the casinos and gamble with it, but it's the experience of caring. It shapes your values. It shapes your identity. So no, I can't prove exactly why you should, but that thing you care about, whatever it is, I'd say something like that is worth protecting. A huge thank you to the Save Lucy Committee for opening up Lucy for me and allowing me to share her story. Lucy is open to the public for tours, and just as this video goes live, those tours will be 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. That's April 2021, and that schedule does change throughout the year and changes for special events. So if you are coming, definitely call ahead. That information, as well as ways to donate if you can't come in person, will be linked in the description. If you can come out to New Jersey, I really recommend it. This was genuinely one of the most unexpectedly wonderful weekends of my life, and I don't want to leave, but I have to. I'll be back.